I found this very interesting from the perspective of cultural management and analyzing the market. I'm trying myself to make the connection from intercultural dialogue to what you have said, and I see certain connections. I know that you do as well. Just a couple of questions. Your own team, about 50 people, professionals working with cultural management of events, work shows. What is the makeup of your team? Is it a culturally diverse team, or is it primarily ethnically Spanish? Could you tell me something about that?
I think the professional teams in Spain are changing rapidly in the last year, because there is a lot of people, not only workers but professionals coming from other countries around the world. And I think that culture is one of the leading sectors in that way. So there is a lot of people from other countries, but I don't have the exact figures. But
I was thinking of of La Fábrica.
But probably my figures, but probably 10 out of 50 are foreigners. Mm-hmm. From European and Latin countries.
Okay. I mean, the reason I ask that, of course, is not to put you in any way on the hot seat. However, this question of empowerment, I think a really essential question to put forward. Policies, and they can be in the private sector or in the public sector, but policies which empower, that is, give opportunity for different voices to be heard in creative processes. And that markets, I mean, larger corporations, because you have been speaking now from the perspective of the cultural market, large companies throughout the world, this is certainly discussed very much in Sweden, have been finding that diversity management is an essential part of their work. That is, they have to have people with other experiences, other backgrounds, other language skills in order to be able to run their businesses, because the ethnically cleansed business doesn't work any longer in our globalized and highly migrant society. So I'm just wondering if you yourself have seen that connection. Are there advantages to a culturally diverse team or staff?
Yeah, sometimes this way is suppose some difficulties, but the result is more rich and for sure is a good investment.
Okay. And then I had one more question, maybe someone else does as well. I think that I'm wondering if you feel, because you are working directly with audience and communication with audiences and broader audiences and newer audiences, is your experience tell you that the Spanish audiences are more or less generally curious about innovative contemporary art? That is there an increasing curiosity, or is there, again, something of this backlash towards, we can say, the globalized cultural expression?
I think that people has the latent curiosity. You only need to stimulate it, but if you stimulate it in the correct way, the response is sure. The example I said about La Noche en Blanco is incredible.
Yeah.
And I think communication is half of this issue. I've known a lot of very interesting value projects involving intercultural issues and or very talent approaches, new things that are organized with big effort, and finally the day arrives, 40 people attend, and
it's over.
And no media talks nothing about it, and nothing more happens. So communication is essential for projects.
So
and the public sector can do in supporting in this way.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I would like to put on the table for our rapporteur, as well as for us, these two terms that came up now: latent curiosity That is there a latent curiosity in our European populations about the other, whether it's within the framework of Europe or from a global? If there is a latent curiosity, then comes the second key word that Alberto has given us, communication. What are methods of communication? Is there anything in this policy agenda or development of a cultural agenda in Europe which leads us to thoughts or policies about communication? Should we, for example, this was discussed very much during the Year of Cultural Diversity in Sweden last year, about audience development, something that the UK has been working with a lot. I'm sure our colleague from the Nottingham Playhouse would tell us about their work on that at some point. But audience development, that is how we communicate with these new audiences, is a really essential part of cultural policy, because you can create lots of good art, you can provide money for large cultural institutions, but if the audience remains ethnically cleansed, ethnically homogeneous, then in fact we are not arriving where we want to arrive. So is there a connection between latent curiosity and communication techniques? Thank you, Alberto, for at least these thoughts in my head.